Welcome back. Today, we are talking about the pros and the cons of launching a membership community or subscription service. So I want to talk a little bit about what we have experienced launching the Virtual Business School monthly membership. We have been in this game for just a couple months now. We went from 0 to over 330 members very, very quickly. And so it has been a wild ride, very, very exciting, and love the process, love the model. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of launching a membership so that you can think about whether or not this may be a good offer for you. So the first thing that I want to just lay as a foundational tool to think about is when you are entering the online space, and for a lot of you, you run established companies, you've been in business for years, but many of you may have initially built your success offline. Many of our clients and our listeners have been in business successfully for years, but they don't necessarily have a huge online following. And one of the things that I talk about all the time that I think is really important to reiterate in this conversation is that there is definitely a success path that I believe is most manageable when entering the online space. And it's why I always teach people to start off with one-to-one high ticket, then one-to-many high ticket, and then beginning to go down in the cost structure. And the reason why is the volume and the number of people that are required to make something successful, right? If you think about it, if you have a fairly small following online, it's still pretty easy to go get 5 or 10 high-paying one-to-one customers, and boom, you have a multiple six-figure business very, very quickly. Right? Same thing if you're selling a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 group coaching program or a group delivery model. Pretty easy to get yourself even to $1 million business, with 40 to 60 customers, right? Whereas when you talk about a membership model to get to $1 million business, you're talking over 1,500 customers, right? In order to do that. Now, I think it's really important to look at the phase of business that you are in, where you are at in developing your online platform and how this fits into your big picture. What I will say about a membership, launching it, growing it, and managing it is a lot of memberships are started and stopped. And they're started and stopped because a lot of people think, oh, I'll just start this little membership. It'll be a low lift. It'll be easy to deliver. It'll be easy to sell. And they get into it and they realize that the membership business model is a completely different business model. And it actually requires intent. It requires strategy, and it requires infrastructure and people in order to be done and done well. So the thing that you have to keep in mind when starting any new product line, any new division of your company, and especially launching into a new business model is that it's exactly that. You need people, resources, and infrastructure to do it well and sustain it. And this is why so many people start memberships and then they end them because they think it's going to be this little easy thing on the side. And then all of a sudden, it's way more work than they thought. It's way higher turnover and churn than they thought. And they have to put their energy and time into their higher ticket products. Why this is working really well for me and why it was the right time to do this was that I've been selling high ticket for so many years. I have a fairly large ecosystem, a strong online following, and the vast majority of my leads were not being monetized because of the fact that we were selling so high ticket. So for us to go from 0 to 300, hopefully by the end of the year, our target is to get to 1,000, next year 4,000, the next year 8,000, and so forth. We can do that with the audience that is already building as a byproduct of all of the other things that we are doing in the portfolio anyway. So this is why when you're picking a business model, when you're picking a product line or a new offer that you're going to be building, you have to think about how it fits into your overall ecosystem. If you're doing a lot of brand building, a lot of marketing and you have a lot of leads that are coming into your world that are not going to be a fit for your other offerings because they are requiring a large investment or they have criteria around who can join, then this may be a great add-on for you. Now, I personally feel that the membership model is the lightest and the easiest to manage and run. I absolutely love it. We have one primary person that manages the virtual business school as our executive director. That's Ignacio. A lot of you may have met Ignacio. He's amazing. But we have one primary person, and then the Conviction Marketing Agency manages the marketing, for the virtual business school as they do for my other companies. So a membership model can be a very lean team with great systems and great infrastructure. And it doesn't require a lot of money from a sales and marketing standpoint if you have a larger ecosystem. Now, here's where you can run into trouble with something like a membership model. Lots of people try to launch a membership model as a primary offering, not having a strong enough base or following. And what happens is a membership model tends to be a very low cost, high volume product. And when you're trying to grow a low cost, high volume product, you are basically going to operate at a loss initially in order to acquire the customer. So you're going to take skill and refinement and months of work to get to the point where you can run cold traffic to acquire a customer for a profit at a very low ticket price point. Whereas if you are marketing this offer primarily to a warm audience, it's costing you nothing in order to acquire a customer, and you can be profitable from day one. Okay, so let's go through kind of some pros and cons really quickly. The pros, it's a light lift. It's an easy delivery model. It's very simple, which I love. You can run it lean, right? It grows quickly. What I love so much about it is that you can sell it directly on social media. You don't need a big sales team. You don't need timely sales calls. You don't need all these heavy automations or infrastructure or tech. Very simple. It's very scalable. And the model of a membership is scale, right? Like the whole benefit and value is in the volume because it's low price, high volume. Right? So I personally love it. We have very high retention because of the value of what we're delivering in the virtual business school. And so I have really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to invest in growing it. I'm very excited to lean into kind of building a space and a channel in this space, but I waited a really long time to do this. And it was for all the reasons that I mentioned at the beginning of this session. Had I tried to do this 5 or 7 years ago, it would have been really expensive and hard to get off the ground. And I may not have continued with it because of the complexity of acquiring customers at a profit. So I just want to plant these seeds for you so that you can think about whether or not you will enjoy it. I love the fact that you can sell it with social. We got a lot of our new clients from our email list. So this is very much driven by posting online, emails to the list, and your own organic audience. Our Facebook group has been really, really instrumental in selling this. So I would say, the kind of core four for us are organic audience, the Facebook group, the email list, and, selling on social. The cons, it can be hard to make money from ads. Right? So we have not invested a lot of ads in this model yet. We got this, to where it is today, really primarily focused on monetizing organic traffic that was already in the ecosystem. That's, obviously one of our goals with the model, right? The other thing that people have a really hard time with a membership model is the churn. So, from one launch to the next launch, you're going to have people turn over. So if you're a person that has struggled to learn how to implement sales systems for your business and you don't have good daily rigor around sales activities, then you're probably going to struggle with a membership model because it requires you to be able to bring in sales consistently in between launches launches to replace any of the fall off that you've had so that your launches actually grow the model. Not saying that you need to launch. You can sell on social, you can sell with email, you can sell with ads. There's all these different ways that you can grow a membership, but it's just understanding the dynamics of the landscape that you're operating in. I would say the other con is that it really hinges on audience engagement and audience growth, right? So you need to make sure that you have a great plan for brand at the top of your funnel in order for a membership down, in your funnel to actually work and to convert at a high level. And then I would say that the constant creativity, right? People will not stay engaged. They will not continue with the membership. They're not going to continue to participate or to pay for a membership unless there is something that continues to kind of reactivate them and draw them back in and re-engage them in your offer. Okay. So these are the pros and cons that I've observed in doing this. I love it personally, but I think that we waited until the right time to do it. And I think that's why it's felt like a light lift. It's felt easy. Also, we had tons of hiccups and issues and platform changes and struggles that we had before we launched this with the initial products that we brought to market with the virtual business school. So I want to be really clear that, of course, there is nothing that is smooth, easy, perfect out of the gate. And there was a lot of failure that happened before the launch of the membership that, of course, we learned from and then we use in the formation of the membership to build how we're now operating today. So I want to be clear on that as well. But overall, I think it's a great business model. I think for those of you that have a strong following online and a good email list, it can be a fantastic growth tool. I think for those of you that are willing to see maybe a bit slower monetary growth, but exchange that for a lighter lift and a lighter infrastructure, I think this could be a great option to consider. And also just a reminder that there's lots of different types of subscriptions that you can do. You can do a higher ticket subscription, but of course, as you go into higher ticket subscriptions, the expectation, the client management, the retention, the infrastructure are going to coincide with that. So I hope this was helpful for you in evaluating the pros and cons of what building a membership could look like for you. If you want a cheat sheet on our biggest wins for daily sales and you want to understand how we use the Miracle Hour to build the membership and make sales from social consistently, you can DM me anywhere you are. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, DM me the word Miracle Hour and we'll send you some great free resources to get started. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, remember that sharing is caring. So if there's someone that you know that could benefit from today's episode, do me a solid and share it out. Thanks so much.